I would say I've always kind of, I don't want to say attract because we attract everybody. It's who we decide to choose to be with.
Man, that's powerful. I like
We do.
that.
We attract everybody, but who do we choose to entertain?
Hi everyone, this is Raina Carrillo with Purpose and Passion. And let me tell you, today we have a stunning lady in the building, okay? But before I introduce her, I want you to always remember, go to YouTube channel, make sure you search for luxemediastudios. I want you to subscribe, comment, and like. Please share your thoughts about our guest or myself, right? Okay. Well, we have Stephanie Nuñez. She's a Theta, I call it Theta Healing, but she said it's
Theta.
there you go. And so over the weekend, I had the pleasure of meeting her and her educating us about her field and how she helps people with their mindset. So, most of the time, society in general that follow me on social media, even my friends and family, they think I'm this chingona. They think I'm like this inspiring woman, right? I ran for mayor of Inglewood. I have 5 kids. How do you do it, right? But deep inside, strong people need help, like myself, right? So I definitely wanted to bring Stephanie in today because we're going to learn a lot from her. And this is a topic I've never touched on. And so today we're going to educate you, empower you, and we're going to teach awareness. So thank you, Stephanie, for coming to Purpose and Passion with Luxe Media Studios. Woo!
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes.
So, do you want me to start?
Yes. So let's take the viewers down memory lane.
Okay.
Where are your parents from, and where were you born and raised, and how was your childhood?
Okay. So let's see. My parents are from California. They grew up in El Monte. I'm not El Monte. I think Pico Rivera.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was born in California. I lived most of my childhood, like small childhood, up until I was about 7 in Idaho, Pocatello,
Yes.
Idaho. um, so I had like a pretty, easy childhood. I would say a pretty easy upbringing. Nothing crazy, nothing traumatic. I had good parents. Are still together till this day.
Yes.
It wasn't until I got into relationships that's when I started noticing like the struggles that I had, and that's where the healing work really came in because
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my parents taught me a lot, but I always kind of joke with them. I'm like, you guys taught me how to be an independent woman, not how to be in relationships with people. So it's a struggle.
Yes.
And so,
So I want you to share a little bit about that, like examples, so then our viewers will kind of comprehend, what are your experiences in relationships, right? That you had to go through.
yeah. So I would say like starting with my first relationship, I had strict parents. So I didn't get in relationships till I was like 16, 17,
Mm-hmm.
18. And then I got pregnant right away when I was 19. So I would say I've always kind of, I don't want to say attract because we attract everybody. It's who we decide to choose to be with.
Man, that's powerful. I like
We do.
that.
We attract everybody, but who do we choose to entertain?
Yes.
So I would always entertain people that I kind of like put on pedestals that I thought were doing a little bit better than me or,
Mm-hmm.
had more than me, which is good, which is fine because I think we're always looking for leadership and guidance.
Yes.
But it ended up turning into me finding partners that yeah, they were up here, but they would kind of push me down or they would bring me
Yes.
down. So that's where a lot of my healing work came in. I ended up getting pregnant when I was 19.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed with my kid's dad because I thought that was the right thing to do. That's kind of like the Hispanic culture,
Yes.
And then from there, like I had all these big dreams and goals, and we just weren't on the same page. We were very different, and so our differences led to a lot of toxicity in our relationship.
Yes.
And then also with that, we would drink a lot. We were always partying. That's kind of how we met. We met in a party phase.
Mm-hmm.
So we would drink, we would party. That was every weekend for us was drinking
Wow.
every night pretty much. I think that's how we got along for the most part. But that is also how that's what pulled us apart
Yes.
because we would drink. So it wasn't until I had my daughter, my son was 6 when I had my daughter, 6 or 7. And I didn't want I didn't want my daughter to see like the explosive fights that we would get into. My
Mhm.
son didn't see too much. He would always be in the room, or it would be late at night when we were out drinking. So he was with, a grandparent or something.
Yes.
So he didn't witness too much. Um, but it was just getting to the point where I always thought it would get better with my son. And then when I had my daughter, I'm like, I can't allow a little girl to see this.
Yes,
I
of
can't allow
course.
allow a
Yes.
little girl to be in this environment. But like there comes with shame, like you're breaking up a family, you're divorcing, it's not working, you're a statistic. So
Yes.
all of those things happen and you're fearful to even tell anybody what's going on
Mhm.
in your relationship or your marriage. So I remember I didn't have a relationship with God at the time.
Yeah.
Um but I remember praying. I remember one night praying, and my daughter was 2, and I was like, okay, if if things don't get better in my relationship by the time she's 5, I'm gonna leave. Well, I
Mhm.
ended up leaving like 5 months later. Like I don't know what happened, but
Yes.
I just remember like saying this prayer and just surrendering that relationship to God. And I was like, God, like I don't know what to do anymore. Like I'm praying every night about this relationship. I'm
Yes.
constantly in tears. I don't know what else to do. It's not healthy. I was miserable. I was depressed. I think he was depressed too.
Yes.
Um, so I ended up leaving. So, and I mean, I think that's the way God answered my prayers was by me,
Yes.
having the courage to finally leave that relationship and then working on myself. Cause there was always so many things that I wanted to do. I wanted to do a podcast. I wanted to be a business owner. I wanted to do all these things. And it was like, he wasn't about that. So I would always kind of like push him like, well, you can do it. Why don't you do it? And I'll help you.
Yes.
But it just, at the end of the day, we just weren't on the same
So what
page.
was his kind of field? Like what was his job?
Oh my God, what did he do? He was in sales. He used to
Okay.
sell Harley Davidsons. He started
Okay,
Harley
okay,
Davidsons. Yeah.
okay, okay, okay.
So yeah, so
So you
he
had a bigger vision for him,
yeah,
right?
oh yeah, I still
Yes.
do. I mean, he's the father of my kids, so I
Yes.
always wish him the best. And honestly, it probably is for the best because now he's sober. He doesn't drink. We're both sober.
Yes.
Um, so it did take us, we're friends now, but it did take us separating and all this ugly stuff to happen for us to
Yes.
both kind of get our lives together. So
Yes.
that's really what started my healing journey. But it still took me a long time to seek God and to even go to God for anything. It was more of me doing mindset work and just like pouring myself into my work and
Mm-hmm.
the gym. But I was still lost. I was still partying every weekend. I was still,
Yes.
hanging out with I don't want to say bad people, but I was hanging out with people that weren't putting me in a better direction. I
Yeah.
was just
A
partying,
better, yeah, better
you know.
position, upgrading you
Yeah.
to the next level,
Yeah, it was just
right?
the same thing every weekend. And with men, I had this like horrible mindset with men. I thought all men were the same. I was
Yes.
like, I'm not going to get in a relationship. I'm going to just live the single life, like, you know,
Yeah.
that I went down that road. I always say I was bamboozled into the whole like we don't need men type of
Yeah,
vibe,
I
but
know that movement. And they
yeah,
call it, what is the movement now?
I
What
don't
is
know.
that? It's a word. Oh my
I don't know if it's
gosh.
a feminist
Yeah,
movement,
they
but
call it
is
a
it?
feminist movement. It's not the original feminist movement,
Okay.
but it's the current feminist
Yeah,
movement
there
with the
you go.
LGBT community
Yeah.
and telling women like you don't need the man,
Yeah, and
the
that's
children don't need a dad kind of mentality. So believe me, I
yeah.
understand. Some people can get lost into that. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
And I don't think that way at all. Like I love
Yeah.
men. I definitely want a man in my life.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I think, like we need men. We need men, men need women. So
Yeah. I
I think
agree.
a lot of women go down that road though and they have that mindset of all men are cheaters, all men are this, all men are
Yeah.
that. And it's very easy to go down that path, but
Of course,
but
especially if
it
you've been hurt.
yeah, especially if you've
Mm-hmm.
been hurt, but it really just comes down to like your self-worth and how you view yourself and putting yourself on that pedestal instead of putting somebody else on that pedestal. And that's what I did
Yes.
for so long. Even, I mean, up until last year, I would attract people and I would kind of look at them and be like, it was easy to attract them, but then I would get them and I would lower myself. I would kind of like look down on myself because I thought they were so much better than me. And a lot of times it's fucking smoke and mirrors. And we
Yeah.
don't realize that
Oh,
until we're actually in
yes.
it.
Of course, because sometimes, like, when you talk about smoke and mirrors, it's like the facade of seeing a guy in, nice material items,
Yeah.
right? The Gucci belt, the nice Bentley car, or the Rolls Royce truck, or whatever.
Yeah.
We get blindsided by that, but they're all broken
Oh
inside.
yeah.
And then some of it is they don't even own a home, but they lease in this expensive car. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
And it's just a show to kind of lure women in. I've
Mhm.
seen it all. Like I've seen it all. I've seen it all. So yes, I've known people to do those things where
Yeah.
like they're buying fake Gucci shoes just to floss them and just to put a facade up, like I
Mhm.
have money. Because women are attracted to dominant men, you
Yes.
know, the alpha male. They love seeing a man dressed in material items and having wads of money. I mean, it's the
Mhm.
truth
It's
because
true.
when you look at the Bible, it says that a man is a provider.
Mhm.
So a provider means a man has money. Don't have to be rich,
Right.
but when you see men that have a lot of money, the woman is looking for stability.
Right.
How can you take care of me? Because a role of a wife is the helper.
Right.
And the helper is a big job. Some people think, oh, it's cooking and clean. Nah, man. Being
Mhm.
a wife is as a helper is way bigger than just cooking and cleaning and popping out
For
babies.
sure.
It's a bigger
100%.
dream. It's a bigger dream, a bigger goal. And my friend and mentor, she's like my big sister. Her name is Daphne Waynes, and she had amazing, beautiful children for Kenny and Ivy Waynes.
Mhm.
So she is the ex-wife of that big celebrity. And the way she talks about embracing being a feminine woman
Mhm.
and knowing how to lower your voice and be a lady, like
Yeah.
I'm from the streets, so I talk loud. I'm very like just hood, ghetto, however you want to call
Yeah.
it. That's just who I am. That's how I grew up. But when I would sit with her and just listen to her and how she would say like we don't own our husbands or we don't own our boyfriends. Our boyfriend don't own us. Like
Mhm.
we're individuals.
Right.
And sometimes we get caught into that like your minds, you know, that
Yeah.
mentality. And then we lose ourselves
Right.
focusing on the other person.
Always.
And
Yeah.
so
It
sometimes like I
happens.
listen to her and I'm just like, oh my God, I think that's me too.
Yeah.
So I'm
No.
like, man, like
I
what the
mean, we
heck?
definitely all have a lot of that. And even like in theta healing, you could remove those beliefs because, yeah, sometimes we
Yes.
have that generational belief that we're someone's property,
Yes.
or we end up with our husband or whatever. And yeah, we belong to them. And in a sense, yeah, like, yeah, we respect them and things like that. But we
Yes.
still have to make sure that
But we don't
we're
own
authentic.
them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We're authentic to ourselves and the things that we want
Yes.
to do.
Yes, I
So,
love that. So, how did you start your healing process? Like when was this? When did you just had the epiphany to say, I want to take this class?
um, going through a breakup.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good.
I mean, a little bit before I went through a breakup, but yeah, definitely. That was a turning point for me because I did a lot of healing work. Well, so I thought
Yes.
I did a lot of mindset work. I listened to like a lot of different philosophers and things like that. So like I knew what to do, but I wasn't applying it.
Yes.
So I don't know. I did one class, well, one session with another theta healer,
Hmm.
and it was just like so life transforming. And then during the end of the session, it was funny. She's like, well, like, what is it? Like, what's your purpose? What do you want to do? And I'm like, well, because I used to have a podcast. It was called
Yes.
Ex-Wife Chronicles. And I would talk about dating life, like dating after divorce.
Hmm.
And because I just saw like a lot of women were struggling with like getting their feelings hurt. And I was like, why the fuck are you guys getting your feelings hurt?
Yes.
Like,
Yes. Yes.
what are we
Yes.
doing? We're doing something wrong.
Like
But
be a
then,
man eater. Back then, that was in my brain. Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
that was
Woo.
kind of like my mentality.
Oh my
But then
gosh.
I caught myself getting my feelings hurt. So I was like, wait a minute, girl, you're doing something wrong.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But so yeah, towards the end of that session, she was like, well, what do you want to do? I'm like, well, I want to help women. Like, I don't know. I didn't really know at the time. I just knew like I wanted to help women, like guide them through relationships or guide them through
Yes.
something. I really didn't know what the calling was yet. And she was like, I kind of felt that with you. She's like, you should learn how to do this.
Hmm.
And I was like, I was kind of thinking that like while you were doing the session on me, I had never done it either. And I don't know, I was just really called to it. And then within a couple months, um, my instructor, she was holding a class, and so I
Hmm.
took it. And it was so
Wow.
easy for me to just say yes. Like I do have a hard time making big decisions sometimes,
Hmm.
but
Me
it
too.
was so quick, it was so easy. It was Halloween weekend, okay? And I was like, damn, am I really gonna miss the Halloween parties? Like, what am like
Yep. You
I
gotta
don't
put you
yeah,
first.
I don't, and like, but that's where my head was at the time. I was like, oh, I
Yes.
don't want to miss the Halloween parties. But I was like, no, like, I need this. And literally after that session, like, or after it was a 3-day course, after that course, I was just like so on fire about like everything that
Hmm.
I was doing. I got closer to God. I feel like I I started repairing my relationship with God. Um,
Yes.
I used to be a huge pothead. I stopped smoking weed.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped like vaping. I used to vape. I stopped
Yes.
doing a lot of things that like I was doing that were just normal to me, like everyday
Yeah.
things. But it was just kind of like they just fell off.
Suppression. It
Yeah,
was
like
like you were suppressing your.
mhm.
It's like I call it suppressing your feelings.
Mhm.
And the reason why I say that is because I go back and I think about growing up in my dysfunctional family,
Yeah.
and then using marijuana as an outlet
Oh
and
yeah.
just getting high all the time. And then when the high is gone, all your reality is there. And then you
Yeah.
get high again because it goes
Yeah.
away. But it's like you have to figure it out, like
Mhm.
how to make that change. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man.
So it's been I say it's been a life changer. I feel like I've manifested so many different things in my life since
Yes.
I've taken the course. And I mean that's not I don't want to say that's what it's all about, but yeah, at the end of the day, we're trying to create this life to where we could either be of service to people or
Mhm.
whatever it is that is our purpose or our purpose and passions.
Yes, 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 yes.
So yeah, so I really feel like now I am doing my calling and I am doing what God has asked me to do,
Yes.
and that's to be of service to people.
Believing Before Seeing, a new bestseller by Candace Barr. Order your copy today.
So can you take the viewers down like through an educational part of, how you educate people, like when you make them your client,
Yeah. So if I were to take you on as a client,
which you will. Because I need help.
yeah, no, I know we all do. It's okay, we all do. But so when I take on a client, I go through a process of digging work, which is pretty much asking the questions like, what do you need to
Hmm.
work on? Relationship, finances, career, what is it? And then I would go through that process of like, well, when did this start? How did this happen? What's your
Yes.
first memory? Kind of just really get down to like the root belief of why you have those issues or those beliefs that you know
Yes.
can't get you to that next step. So so once we do that, we figure out the beliefs, like the bottom belief that you actually have. It could be one, it
Hmm.
could be multiple. Um, you would remove those beliefs from their subconscious. So I put you into a theta state. So your theta brain is that state of mind that you're in right before you wake up. So that relaxed state of mind,
Mm.
you're kind of awake, you're kind of asleep, you could hear everything that's going on around you. But in your theta state, you can you're more relaxed, so you could receive healing and you could change your
Yes.
beliefs. That's where your imagination is.
Wow.
So that's why I put you into that theta state, and we can actually pull beliefs from your mind and then download new ones. And you could actually heal people, like physical pain. Like I have some clients that
Yes.
I'm doing like for physical pain too. So so yeah, I mean it's a quick. It can be as quick as 15 to 30 minutes. It could be an hour session, just depending on the client and how much work you want to do.
Yeah.
um I will say, it's not something that is like one and done. It can be, but I think healing work is
It's a process.
it's a process. Yeah, like it's and you need somebody that's going to have you be accountable for the things that you're doing and your environments and your daily habits and things like that.
Yes.
So
I'm happy that Miklo, shout outs to Miklo,
yes.
mindset coach. I'm happy that he brought you there as well because it's a balance. Because you have the male energy and now you have the woman's energy,
Yeah.
and you have a softness of you which is beautiful,
Thank you.
And so when you were, talking about like the healing part and like manifesting, and even, in the Bible it says the tongue is powerful. It can
Hmm.
speak life or death over your life or
Yes.
somebody else.
Hmm.
And I won't go into details, but I remember when I told somebody in their face, I hope you die, and they got shot that
Oh.
week. I was like, "Ooh, Lord!" I said, "I'll never say that again." You know what I mean? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So when I read that in the Bible, it says, you could speak life or death, and I was just like, man, the tongue is powerful.
Right.
But I'm just thinking, like, even the mind, when God says in the Bible, like, if you if you think it and you believe it's already yours,
Hmm.
it's yours.
Yeah.
And sometimes in life, we can dream about it. Like right now, I kid you not, this sounds crazy, but I remember last year, my husband looks at me crazy. Last year, I remember in the beginning of the year, I closed my eyes and I was washing my hair
Uh-huh.
and I saw 200 million, like the lotto
Yeah.
signs. And I kept saying, God, are you telling me I'm going to win the lotto? That's 400 million. So the whole year I was like, I'm gonna win the lotto. I'm gonna win the lotto. Win the lotto. And Omar's like, please hurry up. Please hurry up. Hurry up. It didn't happen. So then in my mind, I thought about it, and I wish I would have had my friend Candace Barr's book, and Believing Before Seeing, if I'm correct. And she was talking about, like, in her book, that when you get a winning ticket, I mean, when you're going to purchase your ticket, you have to walk in there already knowing you are the winner. So that whole year,
Sure.
I was just more than anything, just going in to get the ticket. Like, and
Like,
walking out,
yeah.
and not even saying, this is the ticket, until I read her book and it was
Yeah.
already in the ending of the year. And I'm like, man. So in my brain, I feel like if we're thinking it and we already accept it's ours, I believe it's on its way.
For sure.
So now my mind structure is different. Like, I have the lotto tickets and I'm just like, these are the winning numbers. So I bought 3 different ones.
Oh,
so
nice.
I could have a chance, And I made a promise to God, and I was all like, when I win this lotto, I am going to give 10% to the church. So I'm learning to just learn about the affirmations in here. They give you affirmations and it speaks life into you. And I have my pastor on it. I have some friends on it.
I like that.
And I'm just like, I have to start embracing it.
Yes.
Be ready for it, because it's already mine.
For sure. 100%.
And so when you talk about manifesting and speaking, because sometimes people could be like, I'm fat. That's me.
Yeah.
Like, I could be like, oh my God, I'm so fluffy. I try not to say fat. I'm like, I'm so fluffy, or I'm so thick. And so, I want you to kind of dabble into that. Like, when people talk not so positive about themselves, and how to kind of twist it.
I love this one. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So everything we speak, we think, it is all creating, whether we want it to or not. So I used to be very hard on myself about my image. Like, I would just say, I hate this about me. I hate that about me. I have a coach myself, and I was telling her about my insecurities with myself. Because I was like, I feel like I'm good at a lot of things, but this is one thing. And she's like, do you understand that every time you're saying those things, you're literally sending hate to your body? She's like, you're sending hate to the cells in your body. And I was like, fuck, like, you're right. Like, I totally am. And so immediately, like, I stopped. I created a meditation, but I created a meditation for myself. So I would start turning, like, those insecurities into, positive affirmations, because we have to love our body. And I'm good at everything else, but when it came to my self-worth and my image, I was so hard on myself. And I think that's a lot of people. Like, some people could be really good at career. They're really set financially, but they're still miserable inside because they have an area that they're just not speaking life into. And so I am huge on, like, and I will check everybody around me. If you are my friend, like, you already know you're going to get checked if you say some negative ass shit around me.
I'll be like, oh, fine, girl. I'll be like, Raina, you better be thinking that in your head. I'm like, I know. I'm just with you, so I got to think positive.
Seriously. No, so, like, yeah, the things that we say, it doesn't, like, you have to turn it around. So that's why it's really important just to, like, start your day with gratitude. Like, start your day with already giving thanks, already saying thank you to the things that you have, because it's so easy to look at what we don't have first and be like, oh, fuck, like, I'm so far behind, or I'm this, or I'm that. But I mean, you might have prayed for the situation that you're in at the moment and you don't even realize it, So it's important to just turn that. It's easier said than done, but if it's a daily practice, it has to be a daily practice, just like anything else, just like going to the gym, just like, I don't know, brushing your teeth every day. Like, make it a daily practice to speak life into, like, your home and your kids and yourself. And especially when you're around your kids, like, I won't say anything negative around my daughter, because she'll repeat it. Like, she'll be like, oh, why do I look like this? And I'm like, shit, you got that from me. So I won't say, like, negative things like that. And my kids already know, especially my son, because he's a bit older. He's like, he'll check me. If I say something negative, he'll be like, Mom, you're always talking about speaking positive. What are you doing? I'm like, nice. You're right. I'm going to shut up right now.
I'm gonna listen. So what is your morning routine? Because you said wake up positive.
So my morning routine, it's always changing. I used to wake up, journal, meditate, go to the gym. Now it's not as structured as I'd like it to be, but it
Mm-hmm.
does always start off with prayer. I always have to start off with
Nice.
prayer. Even if you're just laying in your bed, a simple like, thank you, God, for waking me up, whatever you want to say,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want to speak to God. I listen to a meditation or I'll do some theta healing. I used to journal a lot. I kind of stopped because I've gotten more into visualization, but I will
Mm-hmm.
journal here and there. Um, and then gym. And I feel like that, like when I start my day that way, I'm just in my mood's better, like my day goes better.
Yes.
You're speaking everything into existence. So even by doing something as simple as like planning your morning, you're creating your entire day. You're creating
Mm-hmm.
how you want your day to go. And sometimes I do journal like, oh, I'm, like this is going to happen today or blah, blah, blah. But I do try to, get my message from God. Like what's our day going to be like? What do you have for me today? And then,
Mm-hmm.
like that's my boss. Like that's
Wow.
the big guy. So I'm like, what do we got to do
That's
today? Who are we going
beautiful.
to serve today? So,
Yes.
so yeah, that's pretty much it. It's a simple morning routine.
So I'm a believer in God. So my question is this: when you had your doubts
Hmm.
and things happen in your life, and you maybe probably felt that God wasn't there or listening to your
Yeah.
prayers, how did that shift happen to build a relationship with God? Because that is uh like an important like story to share, because a lot of people don't have that close relationship,
Yeah.
but they need it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So
Yeah.
how was that for you? Like not being close and then building that relationship with him.
Um, I was really close to God. Well, I thought I was. I was really close. I went to church
Mm-hmm.
from the time I was little. I was very much into youth group, like during my teenager
Mm-hmm.
years. And I was in a smaller church, so we had like some incidences, not like anything crazy, but
Yeah.
like definitely some incidences. And so we stopped going. Like my mom stopped taking us. We stopped going. I was 16, 17. So of course I got into like partying and whatever
Yeah, of
else.
course.
And I guess I think this is a lot of people. You feel like you can't, and you shouldn't. You can't live both lives, right? Like you can't be praising God and then be drinking at night and
Yes,
smoking
yes,
or
yes, yes,
whatever.
yes.
But it's not, and I don't want to say you can, but even if you do, you can still go to God the next day and he's not going to turn you away.
Yeah, of
And I
course.
think that was a huge thing for me. It was like, well, I'm choosing to live this party life. So even though I believe in God and all this stuff, I'm still going to choose this life because I'm having
Mm-hmm.
fun. Like I'm having a good time. Like,
Yeah.
and I guess if you don't really understand or see how God's working in your life, he's non-existent to you.
Yeah.
And then when I got in my relationship with my kid's dad, we didn't have a relationship with God. We maybe went to church twice our entire marriage. We were together for 10 years.
Yes.
Um, and I think during that time, that's where I really fell off. And I was like, okay, why do I not have a happy marriage? Like, what is going on? But
There's
I
no
wasn't
foundation.
seeking God. Neither one of
Mm-hmm.
us were seeking God. Neither one of us were leading that marriage as a godly marriage.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would pray, but my prayers were always like begging God to like change my position or change the things that I was going through. When your prayers don't have to be like that. Your prayers need to be, thank you God for where I'm at, but show me how to get to my next step. Show
Mm-hmm.
me the people that need to come into my life. Show me my next moves. Not like, oh my God, get me the fuck out of this position.
Yes, yes, yes,
Cause I mean,
yes.
yeah, you may be in that position. He may want you in that season
For that
for that
reason.
reason.
That's how I feel in my situation. Sometimes, like I'm just like, man, and somebody had told me it's a selfish prayer because you're like, God, like, please,
It is
like
because
help me out because he's not listening. And then my pastor keeps telling me, leave him in God's hands.
mhm,
God will take care of him. You need to focus on you.
yes.
And I'm just like, I can't focus on him because no, I can't focus on myself because I'm focused on him.
Yeah.
And I found myself losing myself because I'm
Yeah.
just like, I'm trying to do what I need to do, but then I'm like, this is not what I married.
Mhm.
Like this, he just changed on me, and how do I figure this out?
Yeah.
And so people can ask you, like, how's your relationship with God? Great. How's the family? It's good. How's your children? Fantastic. How's your
Mhm.
marriage? Woo. And so I want to be transparent, and it's important because you'll have the friends that would tell you leave divorce.
Yeah.
And it's like, you just can't, like, you divorced or you're single, but you cannot just jump and just go for it.
Right.
You got to reflect and make the right decision for yourself and the family. Because
Right.
when you divorce, it's not just you, you have the kids,
Yeah.
you know, and so you have to be very careful how you make those choices. And so that's, you know, and that's why I love you sharing your story, because in your case, it was obviously, you know, a part of your journey to be divorced, but now look, you guys are no longer together, but
Yeah.
it took that separation for him
Mhm.
to stop drinking, for you to have
Yeah.
clarity, and the kids are fine, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? You know, so
Yeah,
it's
the
just
kids are
like,
great. Thank
it's
God.
it's a beautiful thing, you know?
Yeah.
And so I know I'm not the only one that, you know, that go through things in marriage, right? Sometimes you have your
Oh,
ups,
it's
sometimes you
everybody.
have your downs,
Yeah.
sometimes you're just you know, on autopilot, right?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and then
Everything's
sometimes it's
just
like, dang, you
yeah.
know, like, oh my gosh, 17 years, like that's how long I've been married,
Oh, that's a
17
long time.
years.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, that's a lot. And so I'm just like, wow. So for me, I'm all like, I'm going to be your client because I need clarity. I want to make the right
Yeah.
decisions. Or maybe I could be tripping. Maybe I'm the one that is being,
You never
you
know.
know,
I
like,
mean,
you learn through the process, or maybe I'm
definitely.
not tripping, you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
No, for sure. I will say, like, I used to always say, if I could go, if I knew what I know now back then,
Yes.
I think maybe our relationship would have worked. And I'm not saying that because, like, we're completely different people. I don't
Yes,
even
yes,
want it to
yes.
work. But
Hmm.
at that time, yeah, of course, I wanted our relationship to work. So if I would have known what I know now, I think maybe we could have fixed it or worked it
Yes.
out. But now I know it's like lead by example. Like, I was constantly at his throat, like, why are you this way? And you're causing
Hmm.
this, and you're like this, and you're whatever. But I should have been checking myself and just pouring myself into God and, like,
Yes.
working on myself, because at that point, then you're leading by example. And they're either gonna see
Yes.
it and they're either gonna see it and they're gonna follow, or they're gonna continue to, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
You
Like,
know,
they won't, they'll see the change, but they're not ready to
they're
change. So
not
then
ready to
that's when the
change. That's
separation
when the separation
happens.
happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's like, okay, you're here, I'm there. It
Hmm.
doesn't,
Yeah.
it's not working.
And
Yes.
you kind of gain the strength. I mean, if that's a reason, or if you got to go, like, you gain the strength to go, because for a long time, like, yeah,
Yes.
there was no, I wouldn't tell anybody about our issues because I knew I wasn't going to go anywhere. I was like,
Hmm.
where the fuck am I going to go? I didn't want to go anywhere. I thought it would get better eventually, but it just got
Yes.
to the point where I was miserable, so I had to go.
Yes.
But I mean, ultimately going led me back to figuring out my relationship with God.
Which is so
I know.
beautiful. I
I
mean,
know. It's
so
so sad. You got to go
beautiful.
through some dark stuff, but that's why,
Yeah.
like, your dark moments, like, yes, they suck and it sucks going through them. But when you look back, you're like, oh, that's exactly why the fuck I
Yeah.
went through that.
But see, your testimony is powerful. You have to go through this
Yeah.
in order to share with
Yeah.
us, including with myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I can learn from you. You know, you're
Yeah.
gonna teach me a lot through this.
Yes.
How I say it always wrong. ThetaHealing. I say it too fast now. I'm like, I don't know if I'm saying it right or not.
No, you got it. Oh, yeah,
Yes.
we're going to learn.
Right? Exactly. I'm like, oh gosh, maybe you could put that in my head, you know? Remove the what I'm saying and then replace it with the correct term.
Yes.
Oh
We're
my
gonna do
gosh.
it.
But Stephanie, how can our viewers find you on social media?
So I am on Instagram. I am at Stephanie with two I's. So STEPHANIIE
Mhm.
_XOXO. I also have a podcast I just started. It's called Soul Sessions with Steph. So you can find it on Apple or Spotify.
Nice. So I had a question. When you do these events, can you work with a group of women?
I can.
Okay,
I could do a
good.
group session. Yeah.
Okay, good, good. Because I'm already thinking, like, I know a lot of friends that can utilize your talents and your skills. So we'll be connecting soon
Okay.
to
I
make
love
that
that.
happen.
Yes, that would
Because
be
I'm all
amazing.
like, you need your own, you're just you,
Yeah.
your
No,
own
that would be
thing.
so fun. I would
Yes.
love that. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much. Well, thank you for
Thank
gracing
you.
purpose and passion. We had a great conversation because I swear this is like so fast. I'm like, what the
I
heck?
know.
Like, that's how good it was. I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, this is Raina Carrillo signing out with purpose and passion. Until next time. Peace.